"Mr. Reeves, don't go near that car. It's the same one from the accident." Keanu Reeves froze. The voice was small, almost a whisper, but it hit him like a bullet. A 7-year-old boy, barely tall enough to reach his waist, stared up at him with hauntingly familiar eyes. Eyes that mirrored someone Keanu hadn't seen in decades. His brother? "What did you just say?" Keanu asked, his heartbeat hammering in his chest. The little boy tilted his head, as if confused. Then, as quickly as he had spoken, he smiled, shrugged, and skipped away toward the film set, leaving Keanu shaken to his core. Hollywood had changed, but Keanu Reeves hadn't. Despite being one of the most beloved actors in the world, he still lived humbly, rode the subway, and never let fame get to his head. But tonight, something felt off. Keanu had just wrapped up a late-night shoot for his new movie. He was exhausted, his mind clouded by memories he rarely revisited. It was the anniversary of his brother's disappearance. 30 years ago, his younger brother Daniel vanished without a trace. No body, no clues, just a broken family and unanswered questions. "Mr. Reeves, don't go near that car. It's the same one from the accident." The boy's words rang in his ears again. How could he possibly know? Keanu had never spoken about the accident publicly. Not to the press, not to his closest friends. He had buried the memory deep, hoping to forget the last time he had seen Daniel, standing beside an old black Chevy before he disappeared forever. Keanu shook his head, trying to dismiss the unease creeping up his spine. It had to be a coincidence. The boy was just a child, right? The next morning, Keanu returned to the set, determined to put the strange encounter behind him. But fate had other plans. As he walked onto the lot, he spotted the same boy sitting alone in a director's chair, his small legs swinging back and forth. Something in Keanu's gut told him to approach. "Hey, kid," he said gently. "What's your name?" The boy grinned. "Danny." Keanu's breath caught in his throat. Danny? His brother's name. "Danny, about last night, how did you know about that car?" Keanu's voice was steady, but his hands clenched. The boy's expression changed. His smile faded. "I remember," he said softly. "I remember everything." Keanu knelt beside him, feeling an inexplicable sense of déjà vu. "What do you mean, buddy? Remember what?" Danny hesitated, then leaned in and whispered, "I remember being your brother." The world seemed to tilt. Keanu's mind screamed that it wasn't possible. His brother was gone. This was just a kid. But his heart whispered something else. And that scared him more than anything. Keanu spent the rest of the day watching Danny from a distance, studying his mannerisms, his expressions. The way he bit his lip when he was nervous, the way he drummed his fingers when he was thinking, just like Daniel used to. The resemblance was uncanny. That night, Keanu couldn't sleep. He pulled out an old photograph from a hidden drawer in his apartment, a picture of him and his brother as kids. The moment his eyes met Daniel's face, his stomach clenched. The boy on the set. He wasn't just similar. He was identical. He had to know more. The next morning, Keanu arranged for a private meeting with Danny's mother, a kind but tired-looking woman in her mid-30s. "I hope I'm not overstepping, but your son, has he ever mentioned anything strange about his memories?" The woman exhaled slowly, looking away. "Mr. Reeves. Danny has always been different. Since he was 3, he's talked about things no child should know. About people, places, events. Things that happened long before he was born." "Like what?" Keanu pressed. The woman hesitated, then pulled something from her purse. A crumpled piece of paper. Keanu unfolded it and felt his stomach drop. It was his brother's handwriting, a note that simply said, "Keanu, I never left. I just found another way back." Keanu didn't believe in reincarnation, or ghosts, or past lives. But this was different. Danny wasn't just a kid with an overactive imagination. He was something more, something unexplainable. Over the next few weeks, Keanu spent time with the boy, asking him things only Daniel would know. Every answer was right. The secret nickname their mother had for them. The hiding spot in their childhood home. The last thing Daniel had said to him before he disappeared. It was impossible. And yet, it was real. For the first time in 30 years, Keanu felt a sense of peace he hadn't known was possible. Daniel, his brother, had never truly left him. The movie wrapped up. The set was dismantled. Danny and his mother moved on to their next project. Keanu thought he would never see him again. But on the last day, as Danny was leaving, he ran back to Keanu and hugged him tightly. "Don't be sad," he whispered. "I'll see you again. Maybe not in this life, but in the next." Keanu blinked back tears, holding the boy close. And then, just like that, he was gone. That night, as Keanu sat alone, looking at the old photograph of his brother, a strange feeling washed over him. He wasn't alone. He had never been alone, and somewhere, out there, Daniel was still watching over him. Maybe in another life they would meet again. Maybe they already had. As Keanu was about to put the photograph away, something fluttered to the ground. A piece of paper, old and yellowed, tucked behind the frame. With shaking hands, he picked it up and read the words. "Keanu, I never left. I just found another way back." His heart stopped. It was the same note Danny's mother had given him, but this one had been written years ago by Daniel himself. The end.